And we're back. The spread, week 11, college football. It's time for our four best picks of the week, four best bets, whatever you want to call them. But hey, pull a seat up. Let's have some cocktails. Let's talk some football. But before we get going, really quick, we're going to talk about, can Miami actually play tough, beat Florida State in the rivalry game? We'll see. Can Georgia cover at home for once? Is USC going to bounce back? And Michigan, first real test on the road. What are they going to do? Listen, stay on, find out. But before we get going, really important question. Who had the sauce last week in week 10? Presented by Torchbearer Sauces, accidentally healthy, intentionally delicious. Put it on anything, my friend. Get some chicken, some beef, some chili, some hot dogs. We could start a whole laundry list of food to put it on, but it's outstanding. So here's the other big thing we need to talk about today. Who did not have the sauce? But before that, let's start with the positive. Alabama, great game. A lot of people picked LSU. I picked LSU last week to cover. Alabama literally beat the hell out of them in the second half. Physicality. Milroe hit some big plays down the field for Alabama. Outstanding. Clemson beat Notre Dame. Yeah, beat Notre Dame. They went home. Same thing. Ran the ball down their throats. Played physical on both sides of the football. Huge wins for both teams. Congratulations. Who did not have the sauce? We talked about them a few times this year. University of Florida. Terrible. Losing to a very bad Arkansas team. And Florida itself at this point is a very bad football team. So we'll see what happens with them. Recruiting's going to be coming up. Can Florida hang on to people? I guess we're going to find out really, really quick. But hey, no, we're not going to waste any time for you guys. Let's get right to our four best picks of the week. First game, number 2 Michigan, 5.5-point favorites, going into Happy Valley. Penn State is number 9 in the country, over under 44.5. So this is Michigan's, like we said, this is their first test of the year. First ranked team. I know they beat the hell out of teams, but let's be honest, the Big Ten sucks for competition. And Michigan's out of conference games, they should be locked up in jail for how weak that schedule is. But let's get back to the positive. J.J. McCarthy quietly having a great year. 18 touchdowns, 3 picks. Their offense averaging 40 points a game. Now their defense on paper, absolutely incredible. Number 1 in total yards, number 1 in pass yards given up, and number 1 in points scored. They're giving up under a touchdown a game. So I don't care who your competition is, they're playing them very strong. On the other side, here's 3 reasons why Penn State can win this game. Number 1, Drew Allard. 20 touchdowns, 1 pick. Again, phenomenal numbers in college football. Number 2, the run defense that Penn State has. They're averaging only under 60 yards a game. Under 60 yards a game. So incredible there. Now, the other side of Penn State, number 3, they're battle tested. They went into the big horseshoe in Ohio State. They lost 20-12, don't get me wrong, but that was a huge test for them. They didn't get blown out. Close game. I put that on their resume as well. So what's the pick here? I don't trust Michigan. I know you have all this sign gate and all the cheating they did or supposedly did. I like Penn State at home, so let's take Penn State plus 5.5. Stay away from the over-under, because what I think is going to happen here, Penn State's going to stop the run, force them to really air it out. I think it's going to slow, believe it or not, I think that's actually going to slow the game down and let Michigan score that much through the air. So take Penn State plus 5.5. Next game, big SEC game, number 11, Ole Miss, going to Athens, Georgia, to play Georgia, number 1 team in the country, minus 11.5 for Georgia, over under 58.5. Big question right off the bat of the game. Can Ole Miss score in critical downs late in the game against Georgia? So on their resume, Jackson Dart, their quarterback, really struggled against Bama early in the season, especially in the fourth quarter. When they played, last time they played an elite defense like Alabama, they got beat up in that fourth quarter. Alabama was able to pull away. There's nothing really Ole Miss can do. Now, on the flip side, Ole Miss's defense isn't winning any awards this season. Nothing on that unit is elite or even really good. They have to really score and score and score. I mean, you saw, for those who saw the LSU game this year, offensive game of the year. So the question is, can Kiffin out-scheme Kirby and that staff? Now, before we get to that answer to that, talk about Carson Beck real quick. Hey, he found a new best friend, wide receiver Ladd McConkey. Last week against Mizzou, 7 catches for 95 yards. Against Florida, he was even a bigger day, 6 catches, 135 yards, touchdown. Last week, Georgia held Mizzou to 21. The reason that's a huge number, that's the first time all year anybody stopped Mizzou from scoring anything more than 21. Now, I think Vegas is really telling us something in this game. I think they know Georgia has problems covering those big spreads, 14 plus, 15 plus. Now, if Georgia can get up early and kind of do what they did to Florida, they're going to win big. They'll win 14, 15 plus. But I think the pick here, if it was a 14 or 15 point spread, I'd stay away. Georgia has had a tough time all year. 11.5, jump on this one. Let's take Georgia minus 11.5 at home. Take that to the bank. It's not one of those bigger spreads what they've struggled with. So Georgia minus 11.5. Here we go. We're going out to the wonderful state of Oregon, because we got a big game. Number 24, USC at number 6, Oregon. Minus 14.5 favorites for Oregon, over under 73.5. Last week we said USC felt like a dead man walking. They fought Washington to the end. Fourth quarter, they got pulled away. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. There's no crying in football. If you want to cry in the locker room, out of the public, Caleb Williams, do your thing. Don't cry in the thing where your mommy has to cover your face, man. You can't do that. Especially you had a great game on that field. You played your heart out. Your defense failed you. And now Lincoln Riley, thank you. You finally did the right thing. You fired your friend, the defensive coordinator. He's out. This week, how's that defense going to respond? Because there's plenty of 4 and 5 stars on that roster that has not played up to their ability. You can blame the coaching staff as much as you want, but how are those kids have to make the plays? And how are they going to respond? That's going to be a big, big, big question. Now, to me, Alabama's a great one-loss team. I think Oregon is even better one-loss team right now in the country. 3 reasons why Oregon will win this game and cover. You ready? Bo Nix, Bucky Irving. Nix, 25 touchdowns, 2 picks. Bucky Irving, 821 yards rushing, 9 touchdowns, 7 yards a carry. He runs like a bull. Number 2, the defense is very, very physical. They're only allowing 16 points per game. And in the Pac-12, that's like giving up 8 points. That league can score. And number 3, Oregon is 8-1 against the spread this year. And I shouldn't do this. I'm going to be mad at myself. I'm going to give you a bonus. Oregon's only lost 1 time at home in the last 3 years. And it's not going to start on Saturday. Take Oregon. Take the big spread. Take the minus 14.5. I think USC is going to come out. I think they're going to come out flat. I think they're going to get beat up in Oregon, in Eugene. Now, here we go. Big rivalry game. It's still a rivalry game, even though Miami's been down for quite a few years, and FSU is starting to really ascend up. But Miami going into Tallahassee. Florida State's ranked 4 right now. Minus 14.5 spread. Over under 50.5. So there's no way Miami can cover this game. There's no way they could win. FSU's King Kong, not so fast, my friend. I know a couple of things about a couple of things. Miami, make the change at quarterback. TVD, 10 interceptions last 4 games. You got to sit him. He's no good. Number 2, Miami's got some big boys on our offensive line. They also have some big boys on the D-line. And what does all that mean? They can run the football. They're averaging 176 yards on the ground, and they're only giving up about 89 yards on the ground on the defense. And number 3, they need money in the red zone. Field goals are not going to beat this FSU team. They score way too many points. So if you have a chance to get up on them, score touchdowns. I love the kicker from Miami, Borregales, but don't let him on the field. Now, FSU, last week they kind of struggled against Pitt. Big reason, both their starting wide receivers were out, Coleman and Wilson. They're still day-to-day. Big question, are they going to play Saturday? Of course they are. That's why they sat out last week. Jordan Travis does not turn the ball over much. 2 picks all year, and he leads this team to 39 points per game. He's been outstanding, but the last few weeks have been sloppy for Florida State. Yes, they beat a bad Wake team, I think 41-16, but that game was a lot closer for a long time. And then last week, that Pitt team, who was coming off an awful loss, the locker room felt like they were lost too in that game. But they played them tough. I know Florida State was shorthanded, but still, you start asking those questions. Florida State wins and covers if they do this. If they keep Travis clean, he doesn't get hit much, They get up early, and they're going to force Miami to rely on the passing game, which right now in Miami, in the current state it's in, is trash. Now, Miami wins if the defense can score a touchdown or if they're going to force at least 2 turnovers. Now, what do I like in this game? I love Miami 14.5. Last year, they lost 52-10. Mario Cristobal has done a great job bringing in talent on the O-line and D-line so far. He still has some work in some other spots, but look for Miami to cover that 14.5. Those are our 4 big ones, but we'll do what we always do. We're going to give you some money. We're going to give you some easy money. So what do we got this week? We got 2 for you. Number 1, take Oregon. Let me say that again. Take Oregon minus 14.5. They're terrific covering the spread this year. They're at home. Like I mentioned, they've lost 1 time in 3 years. Take them with that pick. And then, pains me to say this because they burned me a few times this year, but I really love Georgia minus the 11.5 at home. So that's it. That's our easy money bets of the week. All we ask, we love doing this for you guys. We have a great time with it. But do us this favor. Like and subscribe. This is great stuff. And then more importantly, next time you come, bring a cocktail in, sit down, let's talk some football. Tell me your best bets of the week in the comments. Let's have some fun in here. But like we always say, lock those bets in now, lock them in early, lock them in often. Good luck this weekend. Good luck Saturday. And look forward to the NFL show if you like this. We have our four best bets on that as well. Thanks as always. We'll see you next time.